I don't know. So I don't know what I can say about the Neil Young, Joe Rogan, Joni Mitchell thing. Like, yeah, of course, people that write like protest songs are gonna protest against a corporation, right? I think it's stupid that if you look on subreddits like, I don't know, Tim Pool, or let's say 50% of the posts on the Joe Rogan subreddit, because that subreddit's 50% critical of him and 50% just agrees with everything he says. Some of these posts are like, they're really kind of strawmanning. They're like, wow, Neil Young, what, you agree with everything the government says? It's like, I don't think you can have a position that is the same as the position that a government that you are the citizen for a country that you're a citizen of. You can have the same position as a government without it meaning I have that position because the government told me to. Like, if you think water is healthy, that's a position the government has. So what? You think water is healthy? You believe everything the government tells you? Like, that's the same logic. I think that's a stupid straw man. And I also find it kind of ironic that the top posts in, like, the Tim Pool and Joe Rogan subreddit right now, or at least yesterday, I don't know, I wasn't looking there today. They're saying, they're essentially just, like, bringing up 30-year-old things to cancel Joni Mitchell and Neil Young. So they've brought up a quote during the Reagan administration where Neil Young said the F slur and thought that AIDS was something you could get by someone at, like, you know, a worker at the grocery store or something. Which, I mean, yeah, there were a lot of people with, like, really misinformed and homophobic opinions about AIDS, especially when it was, like, a new disease and all that. But, yeah, they're, like, upvoting all these posts like, oh, yeah, so much for the tolerant left. It's like, okay, well, don't you in principle theoretically disagree with people bringing up, like, 40-year-old statements to try and cancel someone? Like, is this not the cancel culture you're talking about?
You know what I mean?
And then Joni Mitchell did blackface apparently in, like, the 80s or something. I don't know. But yeah, they're like, they're just, yeah, they're straw manning and they're cancel culturing, which is just kind of like annoying, but whatever. Yeah, Neil Young's life was saved by a vaccine. Also, like, yeah, it's really stupid to categorize one's opinion as, like, you can't have that for real. You have to have it because the government told you, or you're trying to appease woke culture. This can't be an opinion that you actually have because it makes sense, because it doesn't make sense, so there's no way. And I'm never going to even acknowledge the possibility that the position could actually make sense. So
Imagine
anyway.
actually having opinions.
Where you want to go?
I don't know if Neil Young X Spotify is one of the top 10 anime betrayals, but maybe it is.
I mean, I almost want to say Joe Rogan betrayed Spotify, but he didn't, because the contract that they signed was, oh, you can just still talk it. There was never any, hey,
Yeah, no,
hey, once there's a pandemic, don't tell people that vaccines don't work. They didn't say that.
They really should have put in the pandemic contract in,
Yeah.
the summer 2019.
Yeah. So, like, Joe Rogan didn't betray Spotify. He just,
No, Spotify made the contract. They could have put whatever they wanted in the contract,
Yeah.
and that's what it was, and Joe signed it.
exactly.
Joe Rogan's the hero in this scenario. That's what we're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, he was my 6th or 7th favorite character on news radio. So he ain't all bad.
You think Joe Rogan's brain will be, like, less broken when the pandemic's over, or do you think it'll stay this bad?
I think it'll be better once he finishes his testosterone replacement therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I
I'm just
think
trying to figure out if his,
that'll
like,
get him
descent
good.
into psychosis is, like, just situational. You know, like...
Yeah, fair question. I don't know the
or
answer.
if he's just gotten past a certain age and he's just, like, this way forever.
Yeah.
Because he's, like, real stupid now. Like,
He's
like, really dumb.
one of the stupidest people in America. I always had the most mixed... This was years ago. The most mixed feelings on his stand-up. Some of it was very funny, and some of it just sucked. It was
Chair
like...
humping?
Nice.
Stool humping. I've always like respected Joe Rogan as someone who's like, oh, I'll listen and consider all, viewpoints and, not attempting to be filthy centrist, but, being like, oh, yeah, there's people that I disagree with. I'm interested in having them on and listening to what they have to say. And who knows, maybe they could be right, maybe they blah, 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 blah. And then somewhere along the road, he just abandoned that as a principle and as a concept. And I don't know if he's aware of that, but he doesn't do that anymore. If you listen to, there's a really funny clip. Just if you search Joe Rogan Josh Zepps, Zepp, it'll probably be the first thing. But essentially, it's like one of those things where Joe's like really... It's so weird how emotionally attached he seems to be to the whole vaccines are bad thing.
For young boys in particular, there's an adverse risk associated with the vaccine. It's like a 2 to 4-fold increase in the instances of myocarditis.
Yes, but you know what?
Hospitalization.
You know that there's an increased risk of myocarditis among that age cohort from getting COVID as well, which exceeds the risk of myocarditis from the vaccine.
I don't think that's true. I don't think it's true. Myocarditis is more common after COVID-19 infection than vaccination. But is this with...
Yeah, so you're about 8 times likelier to get myocarditis from getting COVID than from getting the vaccine.
That's interesting.
Now, that is
said, not what I've read before, but also it's like even when we're reading these things, it's like, what are we getting this from? Was this from the VAERS report? But even from the VAERS reports, when they report this stuff, it's like the amount of people that report it's the underreporting.
He needs to believe that for some reason, maybe because he's already invested so much into that.
It's because
position.
he's doubled down on it and then can't go back.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
He would be too beta if he was wrong about it.
100%.
And so Josh Zepps no, actually, you have a higher risk of myocarditis from COVID, even in that age group. And then Joe keeps moving the goalpost, and then he's like, well, no, but the kids, and he's like, no, that's not true, because I saw it, blah, blah, blah. And Josh Zepps is just...
It's like, no, you're
ultimate,
incorrect.
Yeah, ultimate... I don't want to say Chad. Ultimate confident, just like, no, you're not, blah, blah, blah. By the way, what's so funny, Josh Zepps, that interview, and then 2 other absolutely fucking legendary interviews. He is the guy that made Suey Park look like a fucking moron, who was the girl who started the cancel Colbert hashtag. I'll just pause it for a second. That's a really funny interview.
Isn't his point that there are lots of stupid racist people who, even in their attempt to be conciliatory on race, end up putting their foot in it and saying something dumb?
I really don't think that we're going to end racism by joking about it. I'm glad that the white liberals feel like they are less racist because they can joke about people that are more explicitly racist, but that actually does nothing to help people of color.
And then he's also the guy that interviewed Jeremy Irons when Jeremy Irons said that it's not incest between men.
Could a father not marry his son?
Could a father not marry his daughter? What? I don't know what you're saying.
Well, there are laws against incest.
It's not incest between men.
What?
but men don't breed, therefore so incest wouldn't cover that. Now, if that was...
What? Have you... This is the silly...
Well, it's not.
When he's like, oh, you can fuck your son.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Josh Zepps just full of legendary... He's the same guy. He's the same... He's like, yeah, it's the same fucking guy. He's the Jeremy Irons guy, he's the Suey Park guy, and he's the guy that made Joe Rogan look like a fucking...
Damn, all the hits.
He's just, when he's talking to somebody, he's confident, he knows what he's talking about, and he's not afraid to tell someone when they're full of shit or they're wrong. He's like, are you sure that that's,
And also people say insane things to him.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Something about his face.
Yeah, what a fucking legend.
The best Team Eco game, we've gone from girl to dead girl to no girl.
True. Can I not jump that high?
The natural progression of girls in games. Is this how Gamergate happened?
Yeah. And that's why we need to cancel Colbert.
That is why we need to cancel Colbert.
It's even if you've seen the cancel Colbert Suey Park Josh Zepps interview, watch it again, because it's so much better than my memory. Just it's not just 2016 anti-SJW relic. It's just still really funny.
We need to cancel Colbert because the Colbert Report was so funny, and he fucking sucks now. That's why we need to cancel Colbert. Because every time I see him now, it makes me sad for how fucking hilarious he used to be and how fucking boring he is now.
I always preferred Jon Stewart anyway.
I mean, I loved both.
Yeah.
I watched Daily Show and Colbert Report every night for years.
My favorite Colbert, there's two moments that I like. I like Munch Makuchi.
One of the best, like laugh breaks
Yeah.
ever.
Because he's usually so deadpan.
Yeah,
too.
and he just can't.
I received a contribution from Arab American viewer Suck Madik. You've made your parents proud. Your father, Lika Madik, and your mother, who still goes by her maiden name, Munch Makuchi.
And I liked, I liked his Herman Caden ad parody face.
Oh,
smile.
yeah. Beautiful.
I loved that, yeah. But yeah, in the Suey Park interview, it's like, ow. Like, literally, she's trying to cancel him because there was a joke on the Colbert Report where I think the joke was like, and this person, and it was like a politician or something, and they decided to name this center the Ching Chong for Chinese American Center. But the whole point of the joke was that the person they were talking about is racist.
Who's doing it is racist.
And so Josh
and bad.
Zepps in the interview is like, you understand what satire is, don't you, Sue? She's like, you're being disrespectful, and you're talking down to me, and that's a problem.
Yeah, I was going to say that I feel like it's incredibly patronizing for you to paint these questions this way, especially as a white man. I don't expect you to be able to understand what people of color are actually saying with regards to cancel Colbert. He has a history of making jokes.
Sorry, being a white man doesn't prevent me from being able to think, and doesn't prevent me from being able to have reasoned perspectives on things. I didn't give up my right to be able to have an intellectual conversation when I was born.
I know, but well, white men definitely feel like they're entitled to talk over me. They definitely feel like they're entitled to kind of minimalize my experiences, and they definitely feel like they are somehow exempt and so logical compared to women who are painted as emotional, right?
No one's minimalizing your experiences. No one's minimalizing your right to have an opinion. It's just a stupid opinion. I mean, it's a misunderstanding of what
You
satire is.
just called my opinion
Of what irony is.
stupid. You just called my opinion stupid. That's incredibly unproductive, and I don't think I'm going to enact the labor of having to explain to you why that's incredibly offensive and patronizing.
Explain.
I just told you I wouldn't enact that labor.
Okay, thanks for being with us, Suey.
And then Josh Zepps said, you're Chinese.
Yeah.
And that was the end of the interview.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. It's like, holy shit, no wonder Trump won.
Yeah.
Thanks, Suey. That, like, pocket in time where, like, anti-SJW
Yeah,
content was just...
how many undecideds did you push over the edge with your bullshit?
Yeah. Sneaking.
You're Chinese.
You don't even see me. John Cena.
Oh, are we going John Cena run?
Joe Sheena.
We recorded our year-end wrestling awards yesterday. We had a major debate on who the for new category biggest coward of the year. Whether it was
Oh, you invented the category for John Cena, or what?
well, there was
pretty much.
There was a few really good options.
Okay, what were the other ones?
The other real good one, which Drew was his number one, Zhao China was his number two, Zhao China was my number one, she was his number two. Zelina Vega, who was making more money than her already pretty good WWE contract on her own Twitch stream.
Oh, yeah.
And then WWE decided to shut down all wrestlers' Twitch streams unless they gave them the money for it. She was crying on her Twitch stream about it. Then she made a tweet about unionization for wrestlers, which should...
This is not where I'm supposed to be, and I am going to die here.
Oh, yeah, you're dead. Which should definitely happen. And then 10 minutes after she made the tweet, she was fired. And then 4 or 5 months later, she came crawling back and signed a new contract and gave up her Twitch stream. Number 2, coward of the year.
I would, yeah, John Cena is easily.
I maintain that Cena is the number one, and this is the discussion we had because
he's not really like put in as much of a position that's like do or die, you know.
Well, yeah, like just in terms of the actions, not seeing the forest for the trees, you could make a case for her because it was extremely cowardly what she did. But in terms of the ramifications, it's nowhere close. It's Cena by a mile. Because, like, what he did is so indicative, and, like, frighteningly indicative of how beholden all of us are to China. Like, if there was ever any doubt...
Entertainment industry mostly, too.
John Cena had to apologize to China for the very idea of mentioning
ice
that
cream.
Taiwan was a country. Like, that's terrifying that had to happen.
I think it's more funny than terrifying, but...
It's worrying. Don't get me wrong, it's hilarious. Oh yeah, in fluent Mandarin, by the way, because years before, WWE wanted him to be their conduit to China before realizing that China doesn't care about pro wrestling.
所以在一个采访，我有一个错误，我很抱歉对我的错误，我很爱、很尊重中国跟中国人。冰淇淋。
But he was there for like the better part of a year, learned fluent Mandarin, tried to make wrestling like a big thing there, didn't work at all. Yeah, I also thought he was apologizing to the wrestler, China, but then I remembered she was dead.
He learned Mandarin to apologize to the wrestler China. Oh, God!
China,
Nathan Drake.
I'm very sorry that you OD'd in your early 40s and that you have a thumb-sized clit. Also, been chilling. You know,
there you go.
Zhao China is a Chinese prostitute when you think about it.
Hey guys, it's February 2022, so let's go over my current $5 and up patrons. Big Weld from Robots the Animated Movie, Speak of the Joker, Yup Yup Yup, Caden Mack, Andre Philippe, Butt Rock, Charisma, The Super One Player, Dwyer Tarantino, Jacob Arndt, Zachary Kane, Samjul, Chi.exe, Gothic Sith, Mandel Bro, Kel Hunt, Wales, Bo the Doggo, Kai Butcher, Gabriel Herrera, Hoofy Doe, Ocean Machinery, and Malav Shah. Stay safe.